Many of my friends, as well as fellow yogis and students, know that talking to camera, being recorded, is very, very uncomfortable for me. Even though I do this for a living and stand in front of people and teach, I find it particularly unsettling. But I'm going to do it anyway, perfectly imperfect. But I felt a need to share with you what we've been working on this week. About 8 weeks ago, we started our studies of working with the Mahavidya. These are the 10 Hindu goddesses in the tantric tradition to inform our practice and respect, what they are sharing with us, what they are teaching us, what they are guiding us and reflecting within us, our shadow side of our humanity as well as our virtuous side. And being able to draw on their wisdom to inform how we practice and honoring their spiritual roots in yoga. So this is a journey of cultural appreciation, not appropriation. But weirdly enough, who we are working with this week, I felt a need to share, no matter what political divide we are on or perspective. I think what she shows us is a deep way of self-reflecting and drawing a line as we start to maybe let go and be able to move forward with more grace. So we are working with Dhumavati this week in practice. She is the 7th Mahavidya in our series, and she is probably the most mysterious as well as bewildering deity in this tantric tradition, as she embodies this introspective, the shadow aspect of our spiritual journey and practice. She represents the energy of a new moon, that darkness, but also the journey into the dark night of the soul, entering the void. And what she is trying to do is invite us into the space of dissolution and emptiness, where the wisdom of life's hardships, of life's losses, our grief, our sorrow, and our endings can finally fully emerge. And Dhumavati really reminds us that life is so fragile. Any one of us can lose everything that we cling to. When our safety net breaks down, none of us are immune from losing our wealth, our health, our job, our relationship, our status, even our sanity. When political upheaval, war, famine, natural disasters strip away everything we once relied on, we are left bare. And in these trials, she urges us to ask ourselves, can we survive when life collapses? Can we find our way back to practice and purpose when all else falls away? And by invoking Dhumavati's energy, we learn to trust in the unknown, to find peace in surrendering, that letting go. As we lean into this moment, let go, can we let whatever is be and reflect deeply on life's impermanences, that everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and this is the natural cycle. So she shows us this profound wisdom, often grown through the very challenges, the difficulties, the intensity that we experience, guiding us to be more resilient and stronger beyond our attachments to our known tools and ways we see reality. So she is known as the goddess of the void, the smoky one. Dhumavati is depicted as a crone. She is a wise woman dressed in pale gray and white, symbolizing the color of ash and smoke. When we are working with this alchemy and practice of creating this Agni, this fire, we offer to the fire things that don't serve us, but we offer our intentions. We put into the fire our hopes, our dreams, But we also put into the fire our dead, and they become ash, and then they become the smoke. And so there's a lot of symbolism in which she represents this necessary cycle of life, death, and beyond. She, in her iconography, she is seen as very thin, emaciated in her body, very gaunt in her face, even ugly in form, which teaches us devotees to actually look beyond the superficial and the material and look inwards to seek the inner truth of life beyond this facade or the illusion. And she sits in a chariot. Notably, there's no horses on her chariot, reflecting her independence from worldly attachments and the freedom of her own solitude. But as most of us yogis know, that the horses pulling our chariot refers to our sense organs, the indriyas, that get really distracted by everything around us, listening to lots of noise, looking at so many images, smelling, tasting, and then feeling. She doesn't have anything to do with her senses. Her horses are now gone. They are free. And she is left to enter the void with ease. Now, in her hand, she has a winnowing basket, symbolizing her ability to separate the illusion into the truth. So it's a sifting tool. And in her other hand, she has it open, offering boons or blessings to those who approach her. Now, in her image, unlike the other deities that we've been working with, Shiva, the divine masculine, is nowhere to be seen, as she is a self-made widow, devouring him as well as the cosmos into the void, where creation and the creator become one in her winnowing tool. So there's a whole bag of interesting reflections to actually digest around that image. However, she's often seen accompanied by a bunch of crows. And interesting enough, as I've been walking quite a lot, processing in the parks of London, I've been met with a bunch of crows, which either reassures me or fills me with, okay, here we go. Come on, Zeph. So crows symbolize messengers from the realms beyond. They are seen as scavengers. They embody the willingness to confront what we are avoiding, what we're resistant on, what we're hiding from. And they guide us to face the truths, change, loss, death, transformation, and what lies beyond. And crows are said to bridge the physical to the spiritual realms. So there's a big kind of presence of Dhumavati, and Dhumavati is the widow goddess, and she really embodies loss, grief, and the sorrow from, having to let go, to detach from life's transient pleasures, from those we love or what we love. And I myself have been a widow. And so researching this, studying this, practicing with this has brought some stuff up. And studying the kind of Hindu culture, widows traditionally were often viewed as being outside the circle of desire and reproduction. They were kind of cast out. Now, this perception is rooted in the kind of patriarchal kind of conditioning, the social conditioning, because it's associated with a woman's value is with her youth and fertility. But when we study Dhumavati, she really challenges us that notion and embrace the idea that profound spiritual growth and awakening can arise through the pain of renunciation, that ability to pull back and remove ourselves. and that necessary change. And her energy serves as a guiding light through life's phases. Through loss and confusion, she teaches us that true wisdom really transcends these ego attachments of youth, status, and reproductive relevance. And by honoring Dhumavati, we can recognize that wisdom flourishes not despite, but because of the experience of being dismissed, especially in the patriarchal society. That through her wisdom, we can learn from the richness that deepens as we move beyond the superficial measure of what society says I'm worth, how I'm valued, as a woman, but as a fellow human too. Dhumavati, her name means the smoky one. The smoke represents that transition from form to formlessness, from life to death, from creation to dissolution. She really signifies the end of cycles. Whether it's a life phase, whether it's an end of a career, whether it's an end of a relationship, whether it's an empty nest, whether it's menopause, whether it's an end of identity. And as the crone, Dhumavati really represents the wisdom of age and experience, reminding us to embrace the natural process of aging and the insight it brings. That she helps us in the transitions of the fear of decline, the fear of death, the fear of change, the fear of loss, guiding us towards radical acceptance and the peace within the impermanence of all things. Her energy really embodies negation, emptiness, that non-fulfillment of desires that leads us towards stillness and introspection. She is the energy within meditation that dissolves the me, mine, and I, that ego structure, and reveals the unmanifested self. Not just who I am, but what I am. What I have been from the moment of conception, at birth, what I have been as I grew to this moment, and what I will always be after this form of Zephyr is gone. And I was very fortunate to actually see that process within my late husband. I was there when he died. And who knows what is on the other side. But Dhumavati guides us beyond the temporary pleasures and the material successes and all the things that we experience right now, this reality. And she shows us that vastness of pure consciousness, that our true self, our true essence is right here, right now, within all of us. And that's what connects us. Dhumavati embodies Turiya, and this is why we are practicing yoga. We practice, obviously, the yamas and niyamas, moral and ethical boundaries and guidelines. And we put ourselves on our mat to do yoga poses and postures in which we can sit in this posture and breathe and connect to a life force that we can actually direct as we move inwards, becoming more focused and concentrated on really what is most important, that deep yearning, that longing to know the truth of not just who we are, but what we are, a way of returning home. And in that meditative state where we feel completely absorbed in that fullness of presence, physically, energetically, mentally, spiritually. That Dhumavati embodies Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, which transcends the waking, the dreaming, the deep sleep states. In this state that we embody this consciousness, where it dissolves the boundaries of duality and it dissolves, leading us to experience pure awakened consciousness and that unity of what we all are. And just as Dhumavati represents the void from which all experiences arise, Turiya invites us to embrace that emptiness, that stillness that is inherent in our own being. And Dhumavati really encourages us to confront both the external loss and the internal uncertainties that guide us to cultivate resilience and a deep sense of detachment with love from whatever is arising, whatever is being experienced. And in this space of surrender, we can access that profound insight of Turiya. That realizing that the void is not to be feared, but a source of transformation that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in this universe. So our practice is one that we draw on Dhumavati's teachings to really cultivate this radical acceptance, embracing the uncertainty of life, and to focus on leaning into the void. Leaning into the void and learning how to let go and letting whatever is just be. That stillness of the void. Her mantra, Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Swaha, invokes the energy of dissolution, that inner wisdom, especially through periods of transformation, of shedding the old identities, the old beliefs, our opinions, our biases, our conditioned kind of concepts of what it's like to be a human, to be a woman, to be a mother. To let go. To let go of the need to control outcomes. To let go of attachments to past roles or identities. To let go of the fear of the unknown future. To let go of one's resentments and unresolved grievances and conflicts. To let go of perfectionism of myself and others. To let go of the expectations I put on myself and the expectations of others. To let go of the fear of my body changing. To let go of my attachment to stability and predictability. To let go of self-doubt and the lack of confidence. To let go of the guilt of past mistakes and messiness. To let go of my material attachments. To let go of the anxiety of the things I cannot control. To let go of my resentment towards, society and political shifts. To let go of media-fueled fear and negativity. To let go of my attachment for approval. To let go of the fear of losing relevance or purpose. To let go of my desire to escape uncomfortable emotions and feelings. To let go of the avoidance of the difficult things I have to face. To let go of comparing myself to others. To let go of the illusion of permanent security. To let go of the need for external validation. To let go of the worry of financial instability. To let go of the resistance of life's natural changes. To let go of my limiting beliefs of my own personal worth and value. To let go. And through Dhumavati, we learn that every void holds a new seed of new creation. And by embracing the stillness and dissolution, we open ourselves to the maturity and deep spiritual wisdom as we simply honor the journey. And we lean into the void, using her smoky haze to create a protective barrier in which holds us. We allow what needs to emerge to arise. To sense that pulse of life, that light that is within us. That small seed of potential resting in the depths of that void, waiting for its time to awaken. So we practice entering that void. And in that stillness, we surrender. We let go. And we feel that companionship of presence, knowing that we are never alone. And as we repose in consciousness, we find ourselves unfolding, nourishing that light that yearns to grow, to awaken. That little light of hope, faith. So we keep practicing as we trust, lean in, let go, and let this moment be. And so, from the wise prayer, the serenity prayer, using Dhumavati as the God that you do or don't understand, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I hand my will and my life over to you. Do your will for me, not my own. Use me as a conduit to be of service.